A portrait may be worth 1,000 words, but what story does 1,000 portraits tell? Often, not much of a story at all, for differences among them can make for some jarring transitions, and the sheer volume is overwhelming. Now, researchers have developed a system that automatically selects and sorts portraits based on such factors as head orientation and facial features. Then it creates photobios, a hypnotic animated display. Join guest journalist Teresa Meek as she talks with lead researcher Ira Kemmelmacher-Schliesermann about this new system of moving portraits. Photo albums have come a long way since the days of paper and glue. One thing that hasn't changed is our love of the human face. When put in order, we see a life story. With enough pictures, that story becomes something like a movie, although a rather jerky one. You can smooth it out with morphing, a labor-intensive technique that combines a blur effect with point-to-point warping. But new research shows that you can get impressive results without all that work.
So what we do in our method is that we take lots of photos of the same person, we assume it's the same person, and then we analyze each photo. We find similarities in facial expressions, all these automatically using our algorithms. And then we build this huge graph where each node in this graph is a single photo. And then connections between nodes, edges, represent the similarities between photos.
With enough portraits in the collection, the system can move smoothly between any two. It's a lot like morphing, but with one important difference.
Classical morphing is you're given as input two photos, and then you would try to synthetically create in between frames to kind of go from one face to another. What we are doing is really different in a way that these in-between frames actually come from the photo collection. So all the photos in between are real photos. That's the cool part.
Dr. Kemmelmacher-Schliesermann's team previously used a similar technique to match video frames of two people, allowing one to puppeteer the other. Now her work has gone into Google's photo program Picasa, where it appears as the Face Movies feature.
At some point, we found out that these movies, face movies, look really interesting. So Steve Seitz, he's a professor here, he spent some time in Google. He showed it to some people, and then they said, "Oh, that's really exciting. We must have it in Picasa."
There's more to these face movies than just finding and arranging similar portraits, though. The team's research also documented how the much-used cross-dissolve transition can create a realistic effect of motion.
We've estimated how close the edges of the face should be in the two photos. And if they're close enough, cross-dissolve will produce an effect of motion. So we don't physically move one face towards the other, but you would create this effect of motion.
Life is a continuous story. We capture only glimpses of it. This work aims to help us relive that story. A story of 1,000 portraits. Find out more in this month's Communications of the ACM in the Research Highlights article, Moving Portraits.